doctor too. Bernie Wilkins couldn't believe it. Here it was at dinner time. Instead of being home with his lovely wife Carol, he was standing in a police station. A familiar police station. Bernie walked up to the desk and shook hands with the sergeant. "Thanks for calling, George," he said. From behind his desk, George shrugged. Gee, either I call you or I fill out a lot of forms. "I hear that," Bernie replied. "So where are they?" Bruce nodded. He pointed to a bench where Andy and Bruce sat nearby a holding cell. "We actually didn't put them behind bars," he told the social worker. Bernie sighed. "Maybe you should have had. It might have scared them some sense in them." "Hey, Bernie," Annie and Bruce said as he walked up. "Don't hey me," Bernie replied. "Don't you know what I was doing when my phone rang? Explained to my wife I wouldn't let work ruin our date." "We're sorry," Annie said. "Sorry for what? Sorry you got caught? Sorry for what you did? Or sorry that you made me come down here in the middle of my dinner?" "All the above," Bruce suggested. Smart kid. "So I shouldn't have to remind you that I am your social worker and not your bail bondsman." "Oh, of course not, Bernie," Annie said. "I really think you're missing the part here. Here, I'm the victim here. Here, that guy was trying to rip off a poor, innocent girl. You sold him a rock in a box for $20. Annie laughed. "You know what? This is anything but funny," Bernie said firmly. Oh, oops. A rock in a box for $20? You sound like a Dr. Seuss book, Annie answered. "Oh, for heaven's sake, Andy! This is serious! What if they called Carl and Lois Scudder instead of me?" Annie shrugged. "Well, guess you would have to find us new foster parents then." Ernie looked at her. This is what they were about. They were unhappy with their latest foster parents. "Don't play that game, Andy," Bruce warned, but his voice was gentle. "Because it's a dangerous game, and I don't think you understand how hard it is to find the right place for you kids yet. They're only taking care of us for a check with the government," Andy said. "And for free labor," Bruce added. "Chores aren't free labor," Bernie explained. "Since when is grouting a chore?" Andy asked. "I'm just glad they..." live in an apartment instead of a house, or else they would have to figure a way to retile the roof. Ernie's patience were thin. Then what did you really use the money on? Edible food? Andy answered. Bernie smirked and sprayed himself. It's true, Bruce said. You know how awful Lois' cooking is. Trust me, we're all starving. All? Bernie asked, his eyebrow arching curiosity. All, both of us, Annie covered smoothly. Well, come on, all both of you. It's time to take you home. When they got to the front door of the Scudder's apartment, the three of them were screaming, were greeted with a horrible wailing noise coming inside. Let me see. Let me guess, Bernie said. Band practice. When the noise in the apartment grew louder, Annie dug into her bag to find her keys. She winced as she heard Carl and Lois begin to sing, if you could call it that. The sound was 1 part nails on the chalkboard, 2 parts angry cat. The sound of it together was ear-splitting. And then the couple started an argument that was equally as loud as their music. You know, Lois, the word harmonizing comes from the word harmony, Carl told his wife. So, I'm just saying you're a half off. A half step off? Lois added. It's funny that my vocal instructor, who is a paid vocal instructor, doesn't notice that, but you do. Here's the note, Carl replied, holding the smile and the nagging that occurred to him every time they practiced. His wife was tone deaf. He plucked every note on the guitar, and Lois tried to repeat it. Annie was sure that Lois would never be on key. Carl couldn't just leave it alone. He just kept plucking in the note more and more, and Lois kept singing more instantly. This went on another minute more. Pluck, sing, pluck, sing. Annie realized she couldn't put it on any longer and opened the door. She looked at the door. She looked at Carl from his tie-dyed shirt, scraggly shoulder-length brown hair, and to Lois with her mangy blonde hair and shiny red pants. Somehow the two of them had the idea what it took to form a rock band. It was called the Carl Scudder Experience. But it didn't matter that they weren't particular talents, or perhaps a little too old to be in a rock band. When it came to murdering music, they were unstoppable. Don't make them cover AC/DC. Ugh. Lois finally noticed Andy and broke off from the pluck sing showdown. You're late, she said tensely. Tersely? And you're interrupting rehearsal. Sorry, Annie mumbled. Your food's on your tray. Tray, Lois said, pointing to 2 TV tray tables with plates of what may have once been up but was now a goopy gray mess after Lois cooked it. Yummy, Annie started sarcastically. Too bad we already ate. That's fine. It will be lunch tomorrow, Lois replied. Annie made a face at her just as Bruce and Bernie walked up beside her. Hey, Bernie, Carl greeted the social worker. Didn't you say you still have a friend who owns the club? Still don't, Carl, Bernie replied. Okay, cool, right, yeah, cool, Carl said. Excuse me, can we focus on the issue at hand? Lois asked. Everyone turned to look at her. I'm a kind woman. In fact, people are always saying to me, Lois, why are you so kind? But you two know the rules. We serve dinner at a certain time, so we can finish dinner at a certain time, and we can rehearse at a certain time. And so we can drop our rock manifesto on the world at a certain time, Carl finished. Lois rolled her eyes. Those times had come and go now, Carl. She turned to Bernie next. Now, where were they? Annie and Bruce gulped. They stared at Bernie. He told his girls that if she and Bruce spent the better part of the afternoon at the police station, they'd be in deep trouble. Hey, the truth is, it's my fault, Bernie said. I just wanted to catch up with them, and we were having so much fun. I lost track of time. You have my apologies. Why don't I take them back to their room so you guys continue making your music? Sick. The Scudder seemed satisfied with Bernie's answer and seemed to went back to making music. They went back to their room. Annie said, Thanks for coming us, Bernie. Bernie shook his head. Oh, you can't afford to screw this up, he insisted. You haven't been here for 2 months. They're your 5th set of foster parents in 3 years. The Johnsons don't count. We are only there for 2 hours, Bruce said. Do you know what the reaction is when I try to tell people to place 11-year-old boys and 16-year-old girls? Ernie said, exasperated. Annie and Bruce didn't answer. They liked Bernie, and they knew they cared about him. They were sorry for what they put him through. He screwed this up. There's no favors I can call in, Ernie half-in. Then I would have to place you two separately. No, that's not the plan, Bernie, Annie protested. Then we stay together. We'll stay together. Well, if you want to stay together, you have to make this work. Bernie looked at the two of them. They were good kids. He didn't mean to be harsh. He just really wanted what the best was for them. I'm going to share a little trick I learned. Every time someone's telling me something I don't want to hear, I smile and nod, and every while I throw a little once in a while. Works wonders. Got it? Annie and Bruce replied with a nod and smile. Bernie smiled. Nice, kids. Okay, we're done. But I don't want to get a phone call about a trick with a brick or a scam with a ham. The siblings burst out laughing. Then Ernie and Bruce did their special handshake before the social worker left. Alone again in their small room, Andy and Bruce sat in silence for a moment. At least they had a place to keep the couple of things that mattered to them. One of those was a picture of their family right before they had lost their late parents. The other thing stood outside the fire escape outside their window with his cold, wet nose pressed against the glass. Bruce got up and opened the window. Friday hopped into the room. He licked their faces in delight. Thank goodness it's Friday, Bruce said.